Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorial brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Tutorials Group. And let's jump right into today's poster. I wanted to know how to recreate this. Okay, so you got to look at all the different layers. In the very front, there's a Gaussian blurred snowflakes falling. Then there's the windows, and then there's the child, and then there's the background with the Christmas tree. And so you got 3 or 4 layers going on here. So now we're going to recreate this with our own versions. I went on the internet and just found something similar. I got the window here. I've got the kids here. Next I got the background. And finally I got some snowflakes. And so we're going to start with the background. We're going to go over here to the background. I'm going to drag this up into my project of the window. So first I'm going to lock the window and bring the background to underneath, where it belongs as a background. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and resize this so that it fits the scene a little bit better. Right around here. That looks pretty good. And then next we're going to grab the kids and let's go ahead and drag that up into our project. So I'm just going to resize them so that they fit our photo just the way we want them to be. I'm going to put them right between these two windows. That way you see the Christmas tree over on that side. Next we want to do is light these properly. So I'm going to go ahead and take the background. I'm going to go to Enhance, Lighting, Brightness, and let's go ahead and bring that brightness down a little bit so it's a little more cozy and intimate. And we're going to do that same with the children. We're going to go to Enhance, Lighting, Brightness, and bring that brightness down just a tad so it looks like they're indoors. Next we want to do is blur the foreground window and blur the background just a tad because like in our original photo, look how blurry that window is and the background is also blurry. So we're going to copy that by taking our window, going to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and we want to blur this, I don't know, let's say, I'd say something, let's try a 3.0. That looks pretty good. The window's just a little bit blurred. Now let's take our background layer, that's this one, and go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and look to see where we want to adjust that. Let's see what looks really natural. I think almost the same thing at a 3.0. And hit OK. And now the kids are in focus, which is great. But what's missing is the snow. Let's go ahead and add a new layer on top of that. And this is going to be a blank layer. Let's choose pure white and a brush and a soft brush. 300 points. This looks pretty good. And we're just going to brush in our new snow around each window. And just do kind of a little circle. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to play around with it afterwards. So now that we got our snow in, let's go ahead and cut out where it's not supposed to be. So I'm going to lessen the opacity and grab a box and cut around the wood where it shouldn't be too hot. So we're going to hit that like that, go from the top down to here, go from the bottom to here, and then see, I'm just kind of cutting out the snow so that it's mostly in the windows. We'll be able to adjust that later a little bit. Boom and boom. Okay, so now what we want to do is soften that look. And we're going to do that firstly with an eraser. And I can do like a 400 point eraser and just double click closer to the top of each window because the snow is going to be heavier on the bottom. Actually, I'm triple clicking. And that's looking pretty good. Look at that. All right, but that's at 51%. Let's go ahead and bring it up to about 75% opacity and then take the smudge brush. This will be kind of fun. Let's do like a 200 point. And I'm going to smudge the snow out a little bit, and it doesn't have to be perfect because snow wouldn't be perfect. And I'm going to do this twice, once with the 200 point just to get the main portion of the windows, and then on the second pass I'm going to take a 100 point brush, and what we're going to do is now we can overlap the windows a little bit because the snow would be actually coming down a little bit onto the wood, more so on these bottom edges than the top. So I'm kind of gradually going from top to bottom like this. And now when we got these where we want them, I'm going to take the opacity once again and bring them down a little bit so that they look more natural. And finally, let's go ahead and grab some snowflakes here. You can find these online if you do a Google search. You'll find all kinds of neat PNGs. So I'm going to throw this in here right around there. I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and look at that. They almost disappear. And there we go. Finally, all we got to do is grab our cropping tool and crop this window back down to a natural size here, right around there, and hit OK. Look at that. Compared to this original, I think ours is looking pretty good. Well, this is it for this tutorial. This is Rich, calling it quits, saying over and out.